All right, so this is the Fostoria Area Safety Council, December 2021 meeting. And it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker today. We have Mircea Handru, and he is with the MHRSB, which is the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board for a multitude of counties. And I'm going to let him cover those counties because I know that that is an ever-growing list. And he is going to speak to us today about mental health and substance abuse assistance programs that are within Seneca County. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. We do cover Seneca, Sandusky, Ottawa, and Wyandot counties. We cover 4 counties in Northwest Ohio, Seneca being one of them. Actually, Seneca is our home county, is what we call it. I'm with the Mental Health and Recovery Service Board, and we offer various assistance and programs to families and residents of the 4 counties, all the way from prevention services and education to treatment and recovery supports for both mental illness and addictions. I would like to highlight a few programs that maybe can assist some of your organizations. One thing that I have on my list to share is really anything that's educational when it comes to mental health, suicides, or drug addiction. It's something that we can provide at no cost to any organization in Seneca County. We do have various QPR or suicide prevention trainings that can be up to 60 minutes that we can provide to your staff or managers. We do have various drug addiction educational programs up to 60 minutes that we can provide. Actually, recently, we are able to provide Narcan for any entity at no cost. If you guys actually would like to have Narcan on site or in a lobby area or in a lunching area, we can provide those either to each employee at no cost. It requires approximately 10-minute training, that's it. Or we can actually mount it in a box in a common area for anybody to have access to those things. So if you heard of Narcan, which I'm sure you guys probably did, it's really a drug to reverse an overdose and save a life. So we're partnering with the health departments in our 4 counties to get those out in a community at large. So if anybody would like assistance with that, please contact our office or contact myself. Sarah has my information. Another program that we established around 4 or 5 years ago that I always like to talk about is called Critical Incident Threats Management Program. It's really a grieving program after a terrible accident or something that maybe major happened, where maybe somebody got hurt or lost their life. We are having this program available with counselors and a whole team 24/7 to any organization in Seneca County at no cost. So when you think about a fatality, whatever there might be at a place of work, in a school, a house fire, or whatever it might be, we have this program to assist private and public organizations and families throughout Seneca County at no cost. To access that, again, you can just contact our board office and we can have that readily available. Usually we respond the day after the incident. I always give a few examples. We had a few organizations that had accidents or a work site where somebody was either badly hurt or maybe somebody lost their life, and we can provide it to the staff. As I said, we provide it to many governmental entities, including law enforcement agencies. We provide this service to when they have an incident or a shooting. And we also provide it to actually even some of the local hospitals that they needed some grieving assistance. We did provide to some private entities. I'm not going to mention their names, but again, this is we receive great feedback for this service. We will not come to your entity with, obviously unless invited. It's all confidential services provided, no cost to you or any of your employees. And if we determine that some individuals need further assistance beyond that, we have a one-on-one program, therapy and trauma therapy for individuals, again, at no cost. So keep this in mind as well. And again, this will really not affect anybody's health insurance information. It really doesn't really matter of payer source. Another thing I would like to mention is probably the most important thing is if you do run or know of individuals working for you, they might need help with mental health counseling, drug addiction counseling, maybe somebody who overdosed and need assistance of inpatient treatment or residential treatment. Again, my recommendation is contact our board office, email myself or call myself here at the office and talk to me. Usually, we do have a brochure with all the services available on our website, but that's ever changing. Treatment services are changing constantly in our district and in the region. Wait list sometimes can be an issue, especially for mental health services. So the best is I always recommend organizations or individuals to contact us directly. We operate very similar to a school board. We don't provide services directly to the community, but we contract out with services and entities to provide that. And we monitor the services that are happening in the local community. I would like to report that unfortunately, 2020 was a very bad year for Seneca County when it comes to overdose deaths, especially. Was our highest year on record. 2020 previously was 2017, and it appears that 2021 actually gonna surpass 2020 as being our worst year on record here in Seneca County when it comes to drug overdoses. We work closely with law enforcement agencies. We see a lot of synthetic drugs, fentanyl, and synthetic prescription medication that is laced with fentanyl that results in individuals to overdose. Pretty much everything that we see now on the streets is somehow laced with fentanyl. So it's putting individuals at high risk to overdose. And we thought that we got a grip on it in 2018 and 19, but it's just skyrocketing again. So sorry about that. We do have local data and trends. We do see an increase in suicide, but not quite as much as the drug overdoses. Probably when it comes to suicide deaths, the major change that we see in the last few years is actually more suicides completed by women, which usually was not the case in the past. Usually 80 to 90% of our suicides were actually 55 and older males, but we see a significant increase in women completing suicide as well in our community. We do have our website that I can put in our chat box. It's has a lot of information, a lot of resources that I encourage you to maybe check if you need any assistance or if you want to share some of our information with your employees or staff. If you need, again, any sort of training that we can assist with, mental health or addictions training, we provided that in the past. Sometimes we do trainings in partnership with other treatment agencies or with local law enforcement. So if you want to know more what's going on in a community, I guess, on a street level, I call it, please let me know. We can arrange those trainings sometimes for your supervisors, and we can model that based on the available time that you have. Another new service that we have in our district, it's called recovery housing. We have housing assistance for people struggling with addictions as long as they are in recovery and they are staying clean. We have a few projects in Seneca County. Actually, we have 2 homes in Seneca County that are fairly new projects, and we are planning to open a 3rd home. It's been very successful for us to have these individuals living in a home under supervision, working, paying rent, paying taxes. We drug test them daily to make sure that they are staying clean. And really, we had very good success with the last home that it's self-sustainable right now by the rent we collect from the individual. So we are actually planning to expand that and purchase a 3rd home here in Seneca County. Last program I would like to highlight, you guys probably heard of it, but it's a big success for Seneca County, is the PIVIT Drug Court. Is the only multi-jurisdictional drug court in the state of Ohio, where we have the municipal court judge and the common pleas court judges working together for the PV recovery docket. It's unique in the state of Ohio. They had some big successes with that program. Obviously, we don't want people to necessarily access that, as you cannot access that unless you are involved in a criminal justice system. So our goal is to help individuals before they get to the criminal justice system, if possible. But if you have people in the system, usually that is a very good program for them to join. It's a lot of supports around them, treatment services around them, as well as supervision by the probation officers. So I'm not sure exactly what are the details you guys would like me to share, but if you guys have any questions about mental illness or drug addiction in our local community, what services are available, something specific, I can answer those questions. Does anybody has any questions or anything in particular you'd like me to cover?
Well, I'll ask a question. Hopefully everybody else is thinking of their own question. In regards to the homes that you said you were purchasing, as far as, I think you had a different term for them, but kind of like a halfway house or recovery house. You said those individuals are able to work. Are you finding a lot of them from a workforce perspective? Are they coming into that facility with employment, or are they seeking employment and that's part of the program?
Majority of them are seeking employment.
Okay.
I would say 80 to 90% come in unemployed. They can come in, they can be served referred. Some of them, we get them straight out of jail, out of the local jail. Once they're being released, some of them come straight from the inpatient or various residential treatment services. So we do have 2 homes. We have a 7-bed home for women in Seneca County, and we have one that's 11-bed home for males. And we are planning to open another female facility. But yes, one of the requirements is obviously to pay rent, to be employed, to be clean. We have curfew. Now, some of them, obviously, we try to reunite them with their families and children. Some of them lost custody of their children. And really the main goal is to put them back on their feet. And this last home that we opened has been fairly successful when it comes to that.
Very good. Very good. Is there assistance provided in helping them seek and get transportation to employment, or is that an area of need?
It's an area of need, but we assist them with transportation if needed. We have some funding for that. So we make arrangements. We try to teach them that everything has to be planned. I guess they were used to plan half an hour ahead only. So now we try to teach them how to plan ahead and be responsible. But transportation has been some issues with some of the clients. I would say that almost half of them come in without a driver license or a suspended driver license, which is no good. So then you have to really make those arrangements for them to get to employment. Some of them ride bikes to their place of employment, which is okay. But again, with the winter around the corner, we just have to plan for them.
Okay. Okay. Are there? Okay, we do have a question in the chat. How many people with this condition can live in these homes at the same time?
So the female facility is a 7-bed. We maxed out a 7, and the man, it's 11-bed facility. So sometimes we do run on a wait list, which is not ideal, but it can happen. We do have a process for them to enter the home. We want to make sure they are very motivated to change their life. So not everybody, I should say, that apply qualifies or is necessarily accepted. We want to make sure we sometimes we don't put a bad apple with everybody else who's trying to do well. But yes, one other thing I will say about these homes is, and by the way, if any of you guys would like to visit them, we don't have no problem to show you guys the homes and actually have a chance to talk with the residents. They don't have limits on how long they can live in a home. That's, I guess, one of the beauty about these recovery homes. So we had clients that been there over a year. We want them to stay as long as they can until we feel they are able to live on their own. on their own 2 feet. They have some savings put aside. They have a driver license and so on. So again, we have there that are going close to a year and a half now. They live there. So really the main goal is to help them live a successful life on their own.
Mhm. Another question. What is the success rate versus relapse? Do you have any statistics on that?
Yes, I do actually. I just actually reported on that, but if you give me a minute, I might be able to pull it on my computer. I'll tell you, in the last 2 years, we served 38 individuals in the last 2 years, 38 individuals. We do have, I believe we had probably around 25% of the ones that left, they were released unsuccessfully, unfortunately. So that can happen. But we have a higher number, around 60%, I believe, that left were successfully, and some that are neutral. It's how we categorize them. Some obviously still live in the facility. I think when I looked last time, in the last 2 years, we collected close to $35,000 in rent from them, which is good because it's allowing us to sustain the home by paying the utilities and all that, using, I guess, the rent funds and none of the public funds. But I think the key behind our success is, again, we keep really high standards, and now the individuals recovering in the community know if they don't have the right intention, they don't want to come to these homes. We work very closely with the judicial system, so probation officers and law enforcement can go to the home anytime they want without giving anybody a heads up. So when it comes to that, we are fairly strict. We do have cameras around the home and in the living room, dining room, kitchen area. So we monitor what's happening, obviously not in the bathrooms and the bedrooms. But compared to other homes, again, we are very proud of this facility, yes.
All right. Average means of age. And do you assist with job placement as in guidance?
Yes, and yes. So yes, we assist with job placement. We actually have partnership with some local organizations. We partner with Tiff University, for example, to come in and help the ladies, teach them how to dress, teach them how to write a resume, teach them how to interview for a job. We teach them skills on how to properly eat at a table. We help them with high school and GED if needed, and job placement, that is correct. We provide case management services 8 hours a day at the facility. So, and when it comes to age, we don't accept minors. So they have to be 18 years old. But I think we had the lady that was 62 years old. That was probably our highest age. But majority of them, I would say they are from early 20s to early 30s. Unfortunately, majority of them don't have custody of their children. They are either with their parents or their grandparents. And we had a few that lost custody permanently. So it's just kind of the reality we are facing. Some of these individuals that we are serving been in a drug addiction, I guess, world for a number of years. Many of them were incarcerated, overdosed, hospitalized, and so on. So they are really high-end clients that we are talking about. But majority of them, I would say, are early 20s to early 30s. And Sarah, if they want, like, through statistics, I can give you our report, all that. And again, if any of your organizations or partners will ever want to visit or talk to them, or they say, hey, we have maybe some job openings and we want you to put this in the home, or you want to put this poster in a home, we are very much willing to do that. Again, we operate with public funds, so we want to make sure we keep the transparency. But at the same time, we don't really promote it because we don't want, we call it the drug dealers, to necessarily target these homes. So we don't put a big sign that this is the house, but at the same time, we are very open about it. Well, thank you for the questions. That was good.
Yeah, those were good questions. Any other questions?
As I say, Ohio is really pushing Narcan distribution. across all the communities. So I don't know how much familiar you guys are with Narcan, but if anybody needs Narcan for your organization, we can provide that or assist with that at no cost.
Are there any other questions for anybody in the meeting? Okay, so I did put in the chat Mircea's contact information. He also put into the chat the website. The recording of this, of course, we'll put on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. And it'll be in our next safety newsletter, as well as his contact information. Oh, we do have one more.
It's a spray nasal. It's a nasal spray, so it's just a spray. Very easy to use. You just spray up the nose. So we can provide those, and really they cannot be abused. We work with entities that they wanted us to come in and do the training, which is only 10 minutes, and everybody who was in the room can get Narcan for free. They can take it home if they want to. But we also work with entities where they just wanted us to pretty much put a box in one of the areas in their facilities that had Narcan inside, and every time it's used, they just call us and we refill it. So you can do it two different ways.
That was a question that I just thought of too. I mean, is it something you recommend that companies, especially with, you know, maybe 50 plus employees, have Narcan on site? Is that something that you would recommend just based on trends that you're seeing?
Well, we see more and more across our region. We actually had requests from the courts to give them Narcan in their lobby area. Okay. We have some private entities as well, and some hotels and some convenience stores actually. So you know, if you can get it for free and it's really not much liability behind it, you can't really abuse it. And if you are a drug user, that's the last thing you want to do is squirt it up your nose if you are using, because you're going to go and withdraw right away. So yeah, I think it will be beneficial to take advantage and have something available. Yes. If
you have Narcan, I mean, is there an expiration date on it? You know?
Yes, they are good for approximately 2 years. They are good for approximately 2 years. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So it has a pretty long shelf life.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, at the same time, you guys know your employees better. So, I mean, you guys might know if you experience any overdoses on a work site, or if you drug test employees, how many of them maybe test positive. And I know that maybe majority of them test positive for marijuana, but nowadays, even marijuana is laced with fentanyl, so you just don't know. And maybe one thing I would like to mention is just, I guess, just to be aware, we believe that recreational marijuana will be legalized in Ohio in 2022. So, you know, just something to think about as an employer. Based on everything we hear from the state level is that it's a pretty big push for recreational marijuana to be legalized one way or the other. So just keep that in mind.
That's an excellent point. And at this point, from what I've seen from the legal aspect, is employers can still have a zero tolerance for marijuana. I know this topic came up and it was heavily discussed when it was put on the ballot as an issue, but we've heard the same, that it is likely coming and it will likely be legalized. So from a safety standpoint, as your safety representative of your company, it is something you need to be looking at and need to be working on. Any other questions? Give a couple minutes. Last time I started to wrap it up, we had another one come in. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. This was extremely informative. And as always, if you have other questions or you think of other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Mircea or myself. And I can either put you in touch with him or get you additional resources as well. Thank you again for your time. Thank you everyone for coming. We appreciate your participation and your membership in Safety Council. And all of those that are Safety Council members, I won't see you again until January. So I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday and it's safe and healthy. And I look forward to seeing everybody again in January. All right. Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.